I reside in what we now call Commerce City, Colorado, which is really the homelands of the Ute, the Cheyenne, the Arapaho, the Lakota, the Kiowa, the Chicano, and 48 tribes that still live and travel through these spaces. Ancestrally, a space that respected that it had certain sources of life, and you had to respect the region for what it honored and what it offered, and the indigenous people did. They want all of the resource with none of the responsibility of restoring the source of life that they're taking.
That is where I have grown up my entire life, where I have practiced our traditional ways of life.
I think a lot about Suncor being right next to the Platte River. Those very same waters are right next to the Suncor refinery.
Asking my grandparents about it when they would take us to school, because we would pass by it every single day. You know, they didn't seem like it was that big of a deal. And we started to see the effects on my grandparents' land. My grandparents would wake up in the morning and they would have this film that's on their cars. And since then, it's only gotten worse. And that film is like a yellowish type of color.
And you can see some of that yellow smoke. You know, I've been driving down the street and been able to see it.
I think about all the teenagers who have to go back inside because the air quality is too bad for them to play out or to ride their bikes.
My mother has an autoimmune disease, which now I have also developed as well.
Families who've lived here for, decades, who are reporting that their children are having a hard time breathing, concentrating, having nosebleeds and things like that.
I don't think they understand how they've affected our air and our water, and nor do I think that they care.
Children had to shelter in place at school in December because of a large yellow plume of ash released by Suncor.
Because they come from a space that they can take the resource without ever restoring the space. A life giver understands the rebalance of taking part of that resource for balance, but mostly restoring the space when you're in there so that resource can continue. It's supposed to be sustainable.
Because it is so close, and because they don't always disclose what's in the air, what's being emitted, we don't really know how it's going to affect us.
Vea, tengo tantos años aquí en Commerce City y no nos mandan flyers, pero en sí especificando el por qué y qué debemos de evitar, no lo tenemos.
Muchas veces me ha amanecido mi camioneta con un color amarillento muy feo en mi vidrio.
We remember a couple of years back when there was this thick yellow dust that was everywhere. It was on our cars, it was on our windows, and Suncor just apologized and said they would offer some car washes.
Tengo otras conocidas que me dicen que sus hijos padecían de mucho sangrado y con el tiempo el doctor les fue diciendo que quizás era por el medio ambiente.
Entonces también mis hijos pasa mucho de eso y pues a veces no sabíamos pues por qué, hasta que vas investigando y vas sabiendo, entonces pues tiene que ver como pues en la contaminación en la que vivimos.
A lot of the people in my house, they get migraines.
Personas que conozco por lo menos tienen a alguien en su familia con asma.
Those are some of the things that have been reported by a lot of people in these neighborhoods, right?
And they've been allowed to do that for only economic benefit, while they have literally diminished the quality and health and safety benefit of everything, the quality of soil, air, land, and the people.
mi marido tiene viviendo 40 años en la misma casa. Entonces hay raíces porque sus hijos mayores crecieron aquí.
Vea, lo que espera uno de un buen vecino, veas que siempre estemos en comunicación.
Ser un buen vecino es cuidarnos unos a otros y ayudarnos unos a otros, mantener nuestro vecindario limpio.
Pero pues un buen vecino es alguien que no te daña y que quiere el bien para ti.
When we take care of the earth, the air, the water, we also take care of ourselves and our family, our descendants and our ancestors.
Yeah, Suncor's just on the other side of all those trees, you know. You can even see it flickering right now. It's all right there, you know, in our backyard.
To me, a good neighbor is someone that I can trust next to me. Good neighbors are there to love you and your community just like you love them. You share that space. That is not a neighbor. That's a monster. And it's killing our children.
We are not only able to speak up, but that people are willing to listen and that there's going to be change.
This wouldn't fly in an affluent community. This wouldn't fly in a predominantly white community.
Because no matter what the state accuses that Commerce City refinery of, it doesn't seem like anything ever changes. To outsiders, it's alarming.
But to people who live near Suncor, it's just another day in the shadow of a seemingly untouchable giant.
Me entristece más que nada por el hecho de que cuando yo supe que eran ellos mismos los que se regulaban, me entristeció mucho porque sentí que no les importamos como personas, como seres humanos.
Now that we know that this is happening to more of us, then we feel like the strength of the community, the strength in numbers. And so our community is very ready now to make sure that Suncor is held accountable.
Cultivando is an environmental and civil justice organization chosen to set up new air monitoring devices around the refinery and nearby neighborhoods.
Our monitors will measure up to 50 toxics, including radioactive matter. The information that will be picked up from these monitors will then be fed into a bilingual website, which we will also be creating, and will list all the toxics that have been detected by the monitors, as well as the associated health conditions that are tied to those.
The people who have to live around an industrial zone are the low-income families, are my people.
You know, if not enough people are speaking up and trying to advocate for our communities, and that's when we have to step in.
Estamos aquí, somos vecinos, somos comunidad, y que pues no es justo que nos esté perjudicando de esa manera.
What's at stake right now is our future generations.
It's their air, it's their water, it's their life that we're fighting for at the end of the day.
Prepare yourselves for the challenges of the climate impacts that are already going to happen. I'm trying to teach them some form of sustainability because I know that they're going to have a harder fight than I did. Don't be afraid.
My hopes, right, is that more people will join the cause.
If they continue business as usual, we will be choked out and flushed out of our homelands. That's just what's going to happen.